Major Royal Rumble and WrestleMania plans have been revealed, plus an absent Raw star is returning soon, and a WWE Hall of Famer is making a comeback for a major indie show. It's all in your wrestling news right now. Happy New Year, Ross Tweddle.
Tom Campbell, a gracious Happy New Year to you too, sir.
What a year it's already been. We already have a brand spanking new WWE champion in the name of Brock Lesnar. And it's already shaken things up going into the most wonderful time of the year, that being Royal Rumble season. We have ourselves not just a brand new WWE champion, but a top contender after winning a fatal four-way match on Raw against Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and former champion Big E. Bobby Lashley is the top challenger, which means, Ross, we're finally getting Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. Finally.
Which Bobby Lashley has been gagging for. And not just Bobby Lashley, I guess, but Bobby Lashley especially has been gagging for many years at this point. He was on Twitter over the weekend sharing a tweet he did, I think it was in 2019, saying Brock versus Bobby, Brock versus Bobby, Brock versus Bobby. And we're finally getting it now at the Royal Rumble. But last night's Raw, Tom, it was monumental because Brock, he reunited with Paul. It was lovely, wasn't it?
Oh, what a moment. And they revealed on Raw as well that it was Paul Heyman that had managed to get Brock Lesnar into that four-way match when the match with Roman was called off. So do we feel now, I mean, what's interesting from this is you think, reunited, and it feels so good seeing old Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman back together as happy families. But Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio mentions that with Brock going to Raw for the time being, despite the fact that he's still classed as a free agent, he'll be focused mainly on Raw. He has promised an appearance on SmackDown this Friday, but with Brock focusing on Raw for the time being to feud with Lashley, apparently the WrestleMania main event at this point is still Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. We're going to see a very creative road to WrestleMania, I think, Russ.
Yes, it could mean one of two. Well, it could mean one of many things, couldn't it, Tom? It could just mean a sort of Survivor Series-esque match where they just have the big two beefy lads slapping their respective meats against one another with no titles on the line, just for bragging rights and whatnot, and to win the feud once and for all that's been going on for 5-6 years at this point, maybe 7 years. My God, it's 7 years since 2015. Oh, my God.
That makes me feel unbelievably old.
That's
horrifying.
Forget about that, Tom. Time is nothing. We're okay. We're still alive. Or we could sort of have a title unification thing, which I think is more interesting, and maybe have a floating champion between the brands, which would be a nice change of pace. Obviously, with the two brands that have been the way they are for since 2016, I guess, since the most recent sort of return of the brand extension. We've been going since then, haven't we? So it'd be a nice change of pace, I think, from that.
A few people have called for that lately as well. There's so many championships currently floating in WWE that to have a few of them merged together wouldn't be a bad idea. And Roman Reigns being the top guy in the company, it would make sense to have him as the guy that goes between Fox and the USA Network. I'm sure both execs would be delighted with that. Roman's been doing a lot of stuff on Monday Night Raw, sort of in dark match settings, and whenever there's the opportunity to do some brand crossovers, they always drop Roman Reigns in there. I think there's a lot of appeal to have Roman Reigns. I'm putting this out there that if they do a unification match, I think whether it's a unification match or just a straight up Universal title match, I think Roman Reigns is winning at Mania.
Yeah.
I think we continue on there. I don't think there's any reason to take the belt off Roman until next WrestleMania.
And I was going to say, I assume that Brock Lesnar's going to lose his title before WrestleMania, because surely they wouldn't just have a match where it's just all bragging rights at WrestleMania. You can't do that now, can you?
No, that would be a horrible idea. What a horrible thing to do. So that's WrestleMania. Let's jump back to the Royal Rumble, because we had another match announced for the Rumble. Some more plans revealed for the Rumble at the end of this month, and it's going to see a Hall of Famer make an in-ring return, isn't it, Rob?
It is. Betty Phoenix. That one off the NXT commentary booth. That woman there. That lady there. The one that held the championships back in the day. Yeah, she's going to be teaming with her husband, Edge, who, of course, took on The Miz at day one-ish. They're going to be facing off in a mixed tag team match that was set up on last night's Raw, and it's going to be good. I'm just hoping we get sort of similar shades to the build of Nikki Bella and John Cena against The Miz and Maurice from WrestleMania 33, just throwing barbs against one another that maybe shouldn't have been, should have been thrown, unexpectedly thrown. That's what I'm looking for, Tom, unexpectedly thrown.
I think Betty looked great at day one as well, like a proper force of nature. is Beth Phoenix. So to see them four go at it at the Royal Rumble, I think is a great match on the road to WrestleMania. When we saw Beth get involved at day one, my first thought was, we'll do that at the Rumble. A few people said to me, oh, no, they'll wait till WrestleMania. Nah, we'll do it at the Rumble. They're doing it at the Rumble. It makes sense. Let's get it out there on the Rumble.
Yeah,
an absent star from Monday Night Raw making a return soon. It was announced on Raw last night that we will see Alexa Bliss's journey back to Raw. Hopefully it's not as long as Veer Mahan's journey.
Maybe they're together?
Maybe that's what it is. Oh, I'd love if they do a skit. Like, it's Alexa Bliss thumbing, trying to get a lift, then Veer walks past and she goes, Juby, you know how I get to Raw? And he's like, I've been looking for it for weeks. Got a clue. So in this bit that we saw, it showed, it had a shot of the moment where we last saw Alexa Bliss, which was in full Fiend-esque mode, mourning over the destroyed remains of Lily. So I don't know whether they are going to keep the spooky Alexa Bliss, or whether we have the goddess Alexa Bliss, or whether we have something in the middle. What do you think, Ross?
It's going to be very interesting, because surely they can't just disregard... Well, of course
they can. They can.
I know, I realised what I was saying when I said that, but of course they can. They shouldn't completely disregard what we saw for well over a year from Alexa Bliss on Monday Night Raw with Randy Orton and The Fiend and all that sort of stuff. Maybe they could say the sort of, the foaming of the mouth was the essence of The Fiend leaving her be, and therefore she returns to being the goddess, Tom. I've got no idea, but it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with all of that. And I would assume that with the journey back to Raw, I would assume that means she's a babyface now.
It would suggest so, and I don't think we're going to... The fact that it's going back to Raw, Charlotte, the instigator of the end of Alexa Bliss being on SmackDown, I don't think we are going to get any resolution to that. I don't think we are. Unless they have a little showdown in the Rumble, which could possibly be where we go. Goodness knows they need... Because they worked it out. Somebody on Twitter worked it out and said that they're very shy of main roster female stars for the Rumble this year. With, the 80-plus people they released last year. They're a little bit short of wrestlers. Meanwhile, let's head over finally to the world of the independents. So during WWE Day 1, as this show is going down, GCW are putting on their show, Do or Die. And it was the State of Effie address, where Effie revealed that he is fine. And then he was attacked with a guitar by a masked somebody that turned out to be, of course,
the
WWE...
Undertaker.
Oh, it looked very Undertaker-esque. If the Undertaker had started playing Stairway. It was Jeff Jarrett, WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett, making his GCW debut. Already 2022 is weird. It's already weird. And it's been announced that Jeff Jarrett will return to GCW. He is booked for GCW Say You Will on January the 15th. They announced this with a lovely video of Jeff Jarrett in a black cowboy hat, accompanied by a cover of Johnny Cash's God's Gonna Cut You Down. So, what's your thoughts on Jeff Jarrett being part of GCW?
I tell you what, Tom, as a WCW child, seeing that Jeff Jarrett with a silver guitar sort of morph into this grizzled old cowboy-looking Undertaker man with his hat and whatnot, and just the entire look and the trench coat and just the black clothes and whatnot, I'm ready for it, me. I'm ready for a Jeff Jarrett independent run, going everywhere around the world, digging holes and taking souls, and strumming some guitar on top of it as well. But the whole Johnny Cash thing, it all works with Jeff Jarrett, doesn't it? He's played the guitar for like 30 years now, maybe a bit longer.
He's owned guitars for 30 years. Don't know if he's played guitars. GCW is going to be the one to watch in 2022. Yeah. I'm really excited to see some of the stuff they do. They've got this big show coming up at the Hammerstein Ballroom, the biggest wrestling show in the history of the ballroom, being fronted by GCW. We've seen guys like Mick Foley and now Jeff Jarrett coming through there. Matt Cardona had a great run as GCW champion as well. And there's also a lot of talk about Jon Moxley making his return to the wrestling world through GCW. So they are going to be the promotion to watch in 2022. The promotion to watch this week, among others, is New Japan Pro Wrestling. It is Wrestle Kingdom week, and we have Jack and Owen doing live reactions on Twitch for every single show. Presumably by the time this goes out, day one might be done. 9-ish. But day 2 tomorrow, you'll be able to watch them at twitch.tv/Cultaholic. I don't know whether it feels like we're properly back yet. I don't know whether I just, full disclosure, I've tried to do this video about 3 times. Like my head is still in holiday mode at the moment. I don't know about you, Ross.
Tom, the fog is just there all the time with me, so it's no different. Welcome to my world, Tom. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.